All right, so we're back. And you know what we're diving into this time? This whole making your first million thing. Sounds crazy.
$1 billion bucks. Yeah, I thought so too.
But this video, man, it actually lays out a pretty interesting blueprint for building a business that can get you there.
Yeah, and it's not about winning the lottery or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
like a step-by-step, a real plan focused on creating a solid business, something that actually delivers real value.
Okay, so the video breaks it down to 3 levels. Level 1 is all about, I guess you could say, getting your shit together. Like your mindset, your skills, your environment. Level 2 is focusing on figuring out who the hell you're going to sell to and how to get them to actually buy your stuff.
Okay.
And level 3, that's where you scale things up, build a team, and turn your business into like a well-oiled money-making machine.
Right. And I think what's interesting about this whole thing is that it really emphasizes the importance of building a sustainable business.
Yeah.
Not just chasing quick cash grabs, like something that's going to last.
Right. Okay, so let's dive into this level 1, fundamentals. The video starts with this whole who you are thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about like laying a strong foundation.
It argues that your knowledge and skills and motivation and even your environment play a huge role in determining your success.
Like he uses this analogy, it's like building blocks, right?
Yeah.
Knowledge is the first block, skills are the second, then comes motivation, and finally your environment. Everything builds upon the last.
Yeah, and he makes this interesting point about how rich kids often have an advantage simply because they're just exposed to different opportunities.
Yeah.
They learn about things like private equity or investment banking, stuff that most people wouldn't even know exists.
Yeah.
It's like they're playing the game with a cheat code,
Totally, yeah.
They know the secrets because they've been exposed to them from a young age. And that's why it's so important to be proactive about seeking out knowledge and expanding your understanding of what's even possible.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Because you can't pursue opportunities if you don't even know they exist.
Exactly.
So knowledge is power, as they
Yeah.
say, right? Then there are skills. The video kind of flips the script on how we usually think about skills. Like we always talk about, oh, I want to be more confident. I want to be more charismatic. But the video's like, nah, those aren't actually traits. Those are bundles of skills that you could develop.
It's a really interesting point, right? Like, take sales, for example. Being a good salesperson, it's not some magical talent you're born with. It's about mastering specific skills like active listening, clear communication, being able to handle objections well, and building a rapport with people. And all those individual skills work together to make you a more effective salesperson.
So it's not about like trying to be something.
Right.
It's about doing specific things to achieve that outcome, to achieve that desired outcome.
Exactly. And once you've kind of mastered a core skill like sales, it opens up, other doors to other areas like marketing.
So it's like leveling up in a video game. You gain experience in one area, and it unlocks new possibilities in another.
Exactly. But it all starts with mastering those fundamental skills. You can't skip ahead.
All right, so let's talk about motivation. This is where the video gets a little weird. It's saying that motivation comes from deprivation.
Right. The idea is that the feeling of lacking something is what drives us to action. You get sleepy, you're motivated to sleep, you're hungry, you're motivated to eat, you're thirsty, you drink.
So if we apply that to money, feeling broke is what pushes us to make more.
Yeah, essentially, yes. And the video even suggests, surrounding yourself with people who are already making the kind of money you want to make.
Oh, so it's like keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing.
Yeah.
But instead of material possessions, it's like financial success.
Yeah, but it's not about, comparing yourself or feeling bad about where you're at. It's about seeing what's possible and using that as fuel to achieve your own goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But he also acknowledges, it can be tough if the people around you don't understand or support your ambitions. He talked about how everyone thought he was crazy for quitting his stable job to start a business. Yeah, that must have been really hard.
Yeah, and that's where self-belief comes in. You have to trust your gut, trust your vision, even when others doubt you.
He calls it high agency, right?
Yeah.
Which is basically like the ability to make your own choices and take action, even when it's scary or goes against the grain.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, let's move on to environment. He uses this interesting analogy. He compares environment to either friction or lubricant for your goals.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It's like it perfectly captures how our surroundings can either help or hinder our progress.
He even gives this crazy example, like he's talking about locking a bunch of people in a room and cranking up the heat, and eventually it gets so hot that everyone's forced to take off their clothes.
It's a bit extreme, but it does illustrate how powerful an environment can be, like really shaping behavior.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
So how do we apply this to, our everyday lives? We can't exactly crank up the heat on ourselves to achieve our goals.
Well, it's about consciously designing your environment.
Yeah.
To make it easier to work towards your goals.
Like minimizing distractions, surrounding yourself with supportive people, creating systems that make it harder to fall into bad habits, all that stuff.
Exactly. Setting yourself up for success. And even he talks about, he went through this, what he called a season of no, where he just cut out almost all social activities and distractions to just focus on building his business.
Wow.
No parties, no hanging out with friends, just pure hustle.
So we've covered this whole who you are part, your knowledge, your skills, motivation, and environment.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the million-dollar question.
Okay.
Who are you going to sell to?
And this is where it gets interesting. The video challenges this whole idea that you need to sell a product, like thousands of people to make $1 million. He suggests a different approach.
Instead of selling like 10,000 people something for $100, he's proposing selling 100 people something for, wait for it, $10,000.
Right. Now, before you freak out, he breaks it down further. Let's say you spread that $10,000 over 4 years. Suddenly, it's $2,500 a year, which is a little over $200 a month.
Yeah.
Finding 100 people willing to pay $200 a month is a lot less daunting than trying to reach 10,000 customers.
Okay, I see what he's getting at. But how the hell do you figure out WHO those 100 people are? Who's going to drop $10,000 on your product?
Well, he offers this simple framework using what he calls the 3 Ps: pain, passion, and profession.
Okay, so pain, you could help someone overcome a problem you've personally dealt with.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you figured out how to train a stubborn dog. You could create a program teaching other people how to do the same.
Right. Or passion, you could help people tap into a passion you have. Maybe you're amazing at baking sourdough bread. You could offer workshops or online courses.
And then there's profession. You could leverage skills you've learned in your career. Like if you're a graphic designer, you could offer design services to small businesses.
Exactly. And the key here is to niche down. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Focus on a specific group of people you can genuinely help.
He uses Tesla as an example. They didn't start by trying to sell affordable electric cars to the masses. They started with a high-priced sports car aimed at a very specific market.
It's a smart strategy.
Yeah.
By focusing on a smaller, higher-paying segment, you can gain traction and build a reputation before expanding to a wider market.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we've got our 3 Ps, but he also mentions 5 key filters to help pinpoint your ideal customer even further.
Right. They need to have a problem, the money to solve it, the urgency to solve it now, the authority to make the decision, and ideally some experience with trying to solve the problem before.
Okay, let's break those down with some examples. Someone might desperately want to learn how to play guitar, that's the problem. But they don't have the cash to buy lessons, which is the money. Or maybe they want to lose weight, but aren't really feeling motivated to start right now.
Exactly. And sometimes you might be dealing with someone who loves your product, but needs approval from their boss or their spouse before they can actually buy it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Or they might be hesitant to try, like your weight loss program, because they've already tried a bunch of others that didn't work.
Right. All these factors can influence whether someone becomes a customer or not. But at the end of the day, the video boils it down to this. Choose to serve the people you can provide the most value to. That's what matters.
He even shares this little tidbit from top venture capital firms, like they only invest in founders who have been struggling with the problem they're trying to solve for at least 5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
It makes sense, though. It shows they have, a deep understanding of the problem and a genuine passion for finding a solution.
Right. So they're not just trying to make a quick buck. They're really in it to solve this problem.
Yeah, it's like a mission for them.
Okay. So we figured out who we are and who we're selling to.
Right.
Next up, what the hell are we actually selling?
Yeah.
What makes a product or service a winner?
That's the million-dollar question, right? The video outlines these 4 key characteristics. It needs to be unique, something only you can offer.
Okay.
It should be expensive, or at least priced higher than you might initially think. It should be sticky, something that keeps customers coming back for more. And finally, it needs to have low delivery costs.
Okay, so he uses Coca-Cola as an example. They have a unique product, that secret formula. They sell it for a good profit margin. People are addicted to it, so it's sticky. And it doesn't cost that much to produce. They've really got it figured out.
Exactly. And obviously not every product can be Coca-Cola, but the principles still apply.
Right. And what I found interesting is that he emphasizes that even a service-based business can meet all these criteria.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a great coach or a consultant, your expertise is unique, you can charge high prices, clients often stick with you for years, and your delivery costs are basically just your time and energy.
Right. He challenges this idea that scalability only applies to tech products or physical goods.
So how do we make something more scalable? What does that even mean?
So the video defines scalability as the ability to add new customers without significantly increasing your costs. Think about companies like Facebook or Netflix.
Yeah.
Millions of people can use their platforms, and it doesn't cost them much more to serve each additional user.
Okay, but most of us aren't building the next Facebook. How do we apply this to, say, a coaching business or a small online store?
Well, there are different levels of scalability.
Okay.
One-on-one coaching is harder to scale than, creating an online course that thousands of people can access.
Okay.
But even with one-on-one coaching, you can introduce elements of scalability.
Like what?
Well, you could create group coaching programs,
Right.
or develop systems that allow you to delegate tasks to assistants or team members.
So it's about finding ways to leverage your time and expertise to reach a wider audience without burning yourself out.
Exactly. And as your business grows, you can continue finding new ways to increase scalability, whether it's through technology, automation, or building a team.
Okay, I think we've covered a ton of ground here.
Yeah.
We've talked about laying a strong foundation with the right knowledge, skills, motivation, and environment.
Right.
We've explored how to identify your ideal customer and create a killer product or service. And we've even touched on making your business more scalable. But there's still so much more to unpack.
Right.
So much more.
In the next part, we'll dive into how to actually get those customers to buy, build a rockstar team, and really take your business to the next level.
All right. So stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive where we'll unpack all of that and more. See you then.
Yeah, see you then. Okay, so picking up where we left off, let's get into level 2 of this whole $1 million blueprint. Getting people to actually buy your shit.
Yeah.
This is the part about sales and marketing. I know this can make some people cringe, but this video, I think, makes it seem pretty approachable.
I used to be one of those people for sure. Sales always felt kind of sleazy to me.
Right.
But this video, yeah, it actually makes it, I don't know, even kind of fun.
Yeah, it breaks it down in a way that makes sense to me, at least. He lays out these 8 different strategies for getting the word out about your product or service. Okay. Splits them into 2 categories.
Okay, all ears.
What are these magical categories?
Yeah.
So you got what he calls the core 4, and those are actions that you can take directly as the business owner.
Gotcha.
Those are warm outreach, cold outreach, content creation, and paid ads.
Okay, so warm outreach, that's basically hitting up people you already know, your network, your friends, your family, to tell them about your awesome business. Cold outreach is reaching out to complete strangers.
Right.
Content creation is making valuable stuff that attracts your target audience.
Yep.
Like blog posts and videos, social media posts.
Yeah.
And paid ads are, well, paying platforms like Google or Facebook to show your message to a wider audience.
Exactly. So those are the foundation, the ways to get your business out there. Then you've got the 4 lead getters, and that's essentially other people, entities that can help you reach a larger audience.
Okay. So who are these mysterious lead-getting wizards?
All right. So first, you got your customers themselves.
Okay. Yeah.
Happy customers can become your biggest cheerleaders through word-of-mouth marketing, online reviews, and sharing your content with their networks.
Right. Happy customers are like walk and talking billboards for your business, for sure.
Exactly. Then there are employees. As your business grows, your team can also help spread the message and bring in new customers. Okay. Next, you've got affiliates, and these are businesses that already have access to your target market. So if you're selling, fitness equipment, for example, you could partner with a local gym or a personal trainer to promote your products to their clients.
So you're just piggybacking on their existing audience.
Exactly. And then finally, there are agencies, companies that specialize in specific marketing tasks like running ad campaigns or creating content or managing your social media.
So if you just suck at marketing or don't have the time, you can outsource it to the pros.
Right. And what's important to remember is you don't have to do all 8 of these things at once.
Right.
Especially when you're starting out. Focus on 1 or 2 strategies that make sense for your business and your budget.
He suggests starting with warm outreach and content creation because they're usually the most affordable and accessible.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, I guess, when you're first starting out.
No, once people know about your product or service, the next step is getting them to actually fork over their hard-earned cash. And that's where this, he calls it the closer framework, comes in.
A closer framework.
It's a 6-step process for having effective sales conversations. Have you heard about this before?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Sounds interesting, though.
All right, let's break it down. What does closer stand for?
Yeah, what does it stand for?
It stands for clarify, label, overview past pain, sell the vacation, explain away concerns, and reinforce the decision.
Oh, that sounds kind of intense, but also kind of interesting. Let's start with clarify. What does that mean in a sales conversation?
Okay, so it's all about understanding why the person is talking to you in the first place.
Okay.
What's their motivation,
Yeah.
What problem are they trying to solve? You're essentially just making sure they're in the right place. Like they came to you for a reason. They have a specific problem that you can help them with.
Got it. So then you label the problem.
Exactly. Once you understand their motivation, you very clearly articulate the problem that they're facing. You're essentially saying, hey, it sounds like you're here, you want to be there, and this is what's standing in your way. Am I right?
Yeah.
And you're highlighting the gap between where they are and where they want to be.
And that gap is what makes them crave a solution.
Exactly. Then you get to the overview past pain stage. And this is where you dig into their previous attempts to solve the problem.
So you're asking questions like, what have you tried before? How did that work out for you? All that.
Yep. And the key here is to really emphasize the pain points they've experienced. You're reinforcing the urgency and the need for a solution. You're making that gap that we just talked about even wider.
He calls this the pain cycle.
Yeah.
Which honestly sounds kind of brutal.
It can be intense, but it is super effective.
Yeah.
By reminding them of their past frustrations, their past failures, you make them even more eager to find a solution that actually works.
Okay, so we've clarified, we've labeled, and we've dug into their past pain. Now it's time to sell the vacation, which sounds a lot more pleasant.
Right. This is where you paint a picture of their desired future. The amazing outcome they'll experience if they choose your product or service. Instead of getting bogged down in the technical details, you focus on the benefits, the transformation they'll experience. And the video emphasizes the power of using analogies or metaphors to explain your solution in a way that's easy to understand and also emotionally compelling.
He gives this example of comparing SEO to an investment account. You put in the work up front, like making regular contributions.
Yeah.
And over time, you reap the rewards, like compound interest. I thought that was a really cool way to think about it.
It's a brilliant analogy because it connects something complex and unfamiliar, like SEO, to something that people already understand, like investments. Most people, at least.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've sold them the vacation, the amazing destination they're going to reach with our help. Next up is explain away concerns.
Yep.
So this is where we handle objections. That's everyone's favorite part.
You got it. So at this point, you've presented your offer, and it's natural for potential customers to have questions, or hesitations. They might say, it's too expensive, or I don't have time, or the classic, I need to think about it.
Yeah, all the classics.
And the video gives you this really helpful framework for addressing those objections. He categorizes them into 3, buckets. Blaming circumstances.
Okay.
Blaming other people or avoiding the decision altogether.
So someone might blame their busy schedule, the circumstances, or a past bad experience with a similar product, blaming other people, or simply say, hey, I need more time to decide avoiding.
Yeah.
All very common.
Right. And within each bucket, there are specific strategies for overcoming those objections.
Okay.
So, for example, if someone says they don't have time, you could reframe it by emphasizing how much time they're wasting by not solving the problem.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Right. Or if they say it's too expensive, you could break down the cost into smaller, more manageable chunks, or highlight the return on investment they'll see.
So it's all about making them feel comfortable, making them feel like they can actually afford this and that it's a good investment for them, right?
Exactly. The key is to address their concerns proactively and confidently. You're reassuring them that you understand their hesitations and that you have solutions.
Okay, so we've clarified, we've labeled, dug into their past pain, sold the vacation, and explained away their concerns.
We're almost there.
The final step in this closer framework is reinforce the decision.
Yes.
What's the play here? What do we do?
This step is all about solidifying their commitment. You're creating a smooth transition into what he calls like the onboarding process.
Okay, so once someone has decided to buy, you're basically saying like, awesome, you're going to love this. Here are the next steps.
Right.
Something like that.
Exactly. And you want to be super clear and specific, outline, like the next 24 to 48 hours for them, like what emails they'll receive, what actions they need to take, when they can expect to hear from you again. It's all about, just making them feel confident that they made the right choice and they're in good hands.
Okay.
He calls this BAMFIM, which stands for book a meeting from a meeting.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you're not just closing the sale and then ghosting them.
Right.
You're immediately setting up the next interaction to keep that momentum going. I like that a lot.
This could involve scheduling an onboarding call, sending a welcome packet, or connecting them with a dedicated support person just to get them started. And he also mentions the importance of passing on notes from previous conversations. So if a customer spoke to someone on your team, like before talking to you, make sure you're aware of what was discussed.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. It just shows that you're organized, you value their time, and you're invested in their success. Okay, so we got them to buy.
Right.
But the game doesn't end there, right? Now it's about getting them to buy more, and more.
That's right. This is about maximizing customer lifetime value, how much each customer spends with your business. And he gives these 8 powerful strategies, the video does, to increase that.
All right, hit me with those strategies. I'm ready to make it rain.
So first up, and this one's maybe the most straightforward, is to increase your prices.
Okay.
It sounds simple, but a lot of businesses, I think, really undervalue what they offer. They're scared to charge what they're worth.
For sure.
Yeah. And he even gives a formula for like raising prices gradually without, scaring people off. It's called the 5-5-5 pricing model. You increase your price by 20% after every 5 sales. So if you're selling something for $100 after 5 sales, you bump it up to $120 and so on.
Okay.
And the cool thing about this model is it helps you find that sweet spot for your market.
Right.
If people stop buying after a price increase, you've hit your ceiling. You've gone too high.
Makes sense. Yeah, you got to find that balance.
Right.
Okay, so raising prices is one way to boost customer lifetime value. What else we got?
All right, so another strategy is to decrease your costs. This could mean negotiating better deals with your suppliers, finding more efficient production methods, or automating certain tasks.
So you're basically increasing your profit margin without even touching your prices. Sneaky, sneaky.
Next is getting them to buy more times. This could involve setting up a subscription model, creating loyalty programs, or just sending regular email reminders about new products or promotions.
I love that. Turn those one-time buyers into loyal, repeat customers. That's the goal, right?
Exactly. Then there's getting them to buy something else. This could involve offering complementary products or services, creating bundles, or simply suggesting additional items that enhance their initial purchase.
Like if someone buys a camera from your store, you could also suggest they buy a lens or a tripod or a carrying case, all that stuff.
Exactly. It's all about increasing the average transaction value.
Okay, what else we got? What else do we have in our customer value boosting arsenal?
So you can encourage customers to buy more quantity. This could involve offering bulk discounts, creating package deals, or just making it super easy for them to add multiple items to their cart.
So instead of buying one pair of socks, they buy a 3-pack. More socks, more money.
Exactly. And then you can also increase the quality of your offerings.
Okay.
This could involve using premium materials, offering personalized service, or simply going above and beyond to exceed customer expectations.
Yeah, that's huge because it not only justifies higher prices, but also positions you as like a top dog in your market, right?
Absolutely. Then there's decreasing the quantity. This one might sound a little counterintuitive, but it can be effective in attracting price-sensitive customers who aren't ready to commit to a larger purchase.
Okay, so instead of selling a full-blown coaching package, you offer a mini course or a single consultation as like an entry point.
Exactly. It's a way to convert those hesitant buyers and potentially upsell them to your higher-priced offerings later on. And then the final strategy is decreasing the quality. Again, this might seem weird, but it can be a smart way to appeal to a wider range of budgets.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
So you could offer a more basic version of your product or service at a lower price point. You're giving customers options that fit their needs and their budget. And he really emphasizes, that you can apply these 8 strategies to any business.
Yeah.
It's a universal language of increasing customer value, boosting your bottom line.
Yeah. I think that's super valuable because it's not specific to any one industry. It can be applied across the board.
Exactly. And for beginners, he recommends focusing on 3 key strategies.
Okay.
Raising prices over time, getting customers to buy more stuff, and getting them to buy again next month.
Yeah, those are all super actionable steps that can make a real difference in your revenue, even without creating new products or services.
Right. We've covered a lot of ground, from laying a strong foundation to mastering sales and marketing and maximizing customer lifetime value.
Whew, it's been a wild ride.
It has, but hold on tight, because in the next part, we're going to dive into level 3, building a thriving business, where we'll tackle like team building and leverage and continuous improvement.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of this deep dive into building a $1 million business. We've gone through the fundamentals, the whole sales and marketing game.
Yeah.
Now we're on to level 3, building a thriving business, like something that can really run like a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. This is where you really start to scale things up. You build a team, create systems that allow your business to grow beyond just your own efforts.
So it's about transitioning from being like a solopreneur to a full-fledged business owner.
Yeah.
Which honestly sounds a little intimidating, but also kind of exciting.
It's definitely a big step,
Yeah.
but the video emphasizes that it's crucial for achieving, true financial freedom and long-term success.
Okay, so first things first, building a team. I get that having a team can help you scale,
Yeah.
but how do you even approach that? Where do you even find good people? How do you make sure everyone's, working together effectively?
Right. The video uses this, I think, really great analogy to illustrate the importance of balance within an organization. It's a 3-leg stool.
Okay, I'm picturing it. What do the legs represent?
So each leg represents a core function of the business. So acquisition, which is all your sales and marketing efforts.
Okay,
Delivery, which is about fulfilling on the promises you've made through acquisition.
gotcha.
And operations, which is everything else that supports those first 2 legs, like your finance, legal, admin, that kind of stuff.
So if one leg is weak or missing, the whole stool collapses.
Exactly. You need all 3 legs working together in harmony for the business to be stable and to grow.
So let's say you're amazing at sales but terrible at managing finances. It'd be smart to find someone who's, a whiz with numbers to join your team.
Exactly. It's about recognizing your own strengths and weaknesses and building a team that complements your skills and fills in the gaps.
He makes a point about how hiring the right people can actually make your business way more valuable.
Yeah.
It's like adding another brain to the equation, another set of skills and experiences that can help you grow.
It's a shift in perspective.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing hiring as an expense, you're seeing it as an investment in your business's future.
Right. Okay, so you've assembled your dream team. But how do you make sure that everyone's on the same page, working towards the same goal? This is where the management diamond comes in, right?
It's this 5-step framework for setting your team up for success. And the steps are communicate clearly, document processes, demonstrate how it's done, have them duplicate the process, and motivate them to excel.
Okay, communicate clearly.
Yeah.
That seems pretty straightforward.
Right.
Make sure everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing, what the deadlines are, all that jazz.
Right, but it goes beyond just like giving instructions. It's about ensuring that your team understands why they're doing what they're doing, how their work contributes to the bigger picture.
So it's about giving them context, like purpose,
Yeah.
not just tasks.
Exactly. And then there's document processes. This is where you create systems and procedures for every task, no matter how small.
So you're basically creating like a rule book for your business.
Yeah, you could think of it that way. And the video even suggests creating like step-by-step checklists for everything.
Oh, wow.
This not only ensures consistency, but also makes it way easier to train new team members and delegate responsibilities.
Okay, so then comes demonstrate how it's done. You're literally showing them how to do the thing.
Right. You're walking them through the process using those documented checklists so they can see exactly how it's supposed to be done.
And then they duplicate the process. So they practice the task like in front of you using the checklist to make sure they can get the same results.
Oh, exactly. It's hands-on learning, making sure everyone's on the same page. And then finally motivate them to excel. So this is about recognizing their achievements, giving them feedback, and creating, a positive work environment.
Yeah.
Right. And the video emphasizes that motivation goes beyond just like external rewards. It's about creating a sense of ownership.
Yeah.
Making sure everyone feels valued and knows their work matters.
Right. He tells this funny story about how he realized that his team wasn't editing videos at the company headquarters because the internet was so damn slow.
Really?
Yeah, they were actually more productive working from home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that, like, these seemingly small things can have a huge impact on productivity.
Yeah.
And as a leader, it's your job to identify those obstacles and address them. He also points out that even if you do everything right, sometimes you might have someone on your team who just isn't a good fit.
Yeah, that's true.
And the management diamond can actually help you identify those situations. Like if someone understands what's expected of them,
Right.
knows how to do it, and doesn't have any roadblocks, but still isn't performing, it might be time for them to move on.
Totally, yeah. Okay, so we've built our A-team, and we're managing them effectively. Now, let's talk about leverage, which the video highlights as a key concept for achieving that exponential growth.
Yeah,
And he defines leverage as how much you get for what you put in,
I like that.
right? And there are different forms of leverage in business, like brand reputation, skills, technology, even your team members.
He uses the example of like a plain white t-shirt versus a Nike t-shirt.
Yeah.
The Nike shirt, just because of its brand recognition, will probably sell for way more than the generic shirt, even if the quality is exactly the same.
Right, that's leverage. It's about getting more bang for your buck, so to speak.
Right, right. He also talks about like the link between volume and leverage. The more you do something, even if it's messy at first, the better you get at it and the more leverage you create.
Yeah, he shares how, like, in the beginning of his sales career, he had to make tons of cold calls to get good at it.
Yeah.
And, through sheer volume, he honed his skills and eventually achieved a higher conversion rate.
So don't be afraid to put in the reps. Even if it feels awkward or uncomfortable at first, it's going to pay off in the long run.
Embrace the suck, knowing that the more you do it, the better you'll get, the more leverage you'll build.
Okay, we're almost there. The final piece of the puzzle is all about sticking with it, staying focused, and avoiding distractions. And he brings in this cool concept, the woman in the red dress, inspired by The Matrix.
Oh, yeah, I love this analogy.
Good.
Remember how, like, Morpheus asks Neo if he was paying attention or if he got distracted by the woman in the red dress? And Neo, of course, he got totally distracted.
Oh, yeah.
And it turns out that the woman was actually an agent, a program designed to sabotage him.
Whoa! That's crazy.
The video uses this to show how seductive those, like, shiny objects can be, those tempting opportunities that pop up and make us want to completely abandon our current path.
He calls them agents in disguise, sent to kill our progress, mess with our focus.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's such a powerful metaphor.
Yeah.
It reminds us to stay focused on our goals and resist that urge to chase every shiny new thing that pops up.
Oh, for sure, because there's always going to be something new and shiny.
Always.
You've got to stay focused on what you're actually working on.
Yeah.
He also talks about this myth that successful people are always, like, juggling a million different projects and businesses.
Yeah.
But he challenges that.
Right. He argues that most people who achieve real success do it by focusing intensely on one thing until they've mastered it.
Yeah.
Like he uses Bill Gates as an example,
Yeah.
He poured all his energy into Microsoft before branching out into other things.
So it's not about spreading yourself thin. It's about, like, pouring your energy into what truly matters.
Exactly. And it's about resisting that urge to jump from one thing to the next,
Yeah.
Constantly seeking that initial excitement of a new opportunity before the reality of the hard work actually sets in.
Yeah, and he shares this really interesting idea about goals, that it's not actually about achieving the goal itself,
Yeah.
but about who you become in the process of pursuing it.
He talks about how his, billion-dollar goal isn't really about the money.
Yeah.
It's about the person he'll have to become to reach that level of success, the growth, the resilience, the skills he'll develop along the way.
So it's about the journey, not the destination, right?
Exactly. And he emphasizes that the most fulfilling goals are those that align with your values and actually push you to grow as a person.
Well, I think that's a really great point to end on.
Yeah.
This has been a hell of a deep dive. We've covered so much, from building a solid foundation to mastering sales and marketing, building a team and developing the right mindset. I don't even know where to begin.
It's been amazing. We've explored how to find your ideal customer, create products and services they love, and use leverage to amplify your efforts. It's been a wild ride, full of practical strategies and inspiring insights.
Yeah, and I think the biggest takeaway for me is that building $1 million business isn't about luck or shortcuts. It's about hard work, dedication, and a relentless pursuit of growth.
It's about embracing the challenges, learning from your mistakes, and never giving up on your dreams.
Well, that's a wrap on this deep dive. I hope you found it as valuable as we did. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep chasing those big, audacious goals.
See you next time.